Yo, welcome back. This is R&B with 20 Talk 20.
Yo, it's your boy King Karim. We here.
It's your boy Dirty.
Hey, it's Steph the Oracle.
First and foremost, how you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
And I'm talking to everybody across the world. And of course, I'm talking to King Karim because, King Karim, he's like, how can I describe who King Karim is to me now? Because I see him once every 4 months, give or take now. I feel like he's like...
We live like 15 minutes away from each other, yeah?
Yeah. I feel like he's the real Batman. Unless my knees messed up, that's when he'll come and save me. But after that, I can't catch up with this dude, yo.
Speaking of Batman.
King Karim, good to see you, bro.
Always. I like to be on the show. I like to be here.
Yeah. So we got something special to go off today. But before we do all of that, Steph, the Oracle, holla at them. Where can they find us at?
Of course. 20 Talk 20 is talking about all movies and shows and everything in between. So once you go back and listen to all those old episodes, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker Radio, Radio Public, iHeart, Pandora, Amazon Music, and CastBox. Listen and click and follow that button and get all your notifications on the latest episodes. New episodes come out every Friday on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at 20 Talk 20.
Yes.
So you heard Steph the Oracle, man. So this show is special. It's more than special. We've been waiting for this movies. We've been waiting for a lot of movies. And like King Karim said, movies just keep getting pushed back. It's consistent. But we know why, and we ain't going to say the letter. And we ain't going to say the word overall. But without further ado, we're here talking about the Batman.
The Batman.
Yes. Oh, shoot. Dirty, do that again?
The Batman on vengeance.
He sounds just like him, yo.
Got it. Oh, man. I don't know if that was Chris Bell, though, but it's all good here, man. So we got so many questions, so much to say about Batman, but we're going to start with Steph. Steph, how did you like the movie?
Who didn't like the movie is those haven't seen it yet. Those are the ones that haven't liked it. Let's just start with the star. Let's start with the star, Robert Pattinson. He has come a long way from Twilight, from leaving behind the gazy eyes and vampires and werewolves. So he's entering now the world of DC.
And Hogwarts.
That's true. But I mean, the last time I saw him in a movie was in Tenet. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Tenet. We spoke about Tenet in one of our old episodes that we had special guest Party J coming on and breaking it down for us and giving us his episodes with John David Washington. So we talked about, him in that movie, and that movie was fantastic. But here's a little thing. I just put the pieces of puzzles together. Okay. Tenet was directed by who? Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan directed the Batman.
Previously?
Right? So it's just like seeing the 6 degrees of bacon. Is that what the term is called?
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon is seeing like how everything is all intertwined, like having the directors and having the actors work together. And that's just how Hollywood works. So seeing him go from that, from Twilight to now where he's at, it's a long road. So I'm really happy for him. A lot of it is based on something that my love for the Batman movies. It was a different side of the Batman storytelling. I've never heard Batman hear his own words in a journal-like style. Never seen that. And I don't know how is that if it's in the comics, because I don't follow the comics, so I don't really know.
He's narrating himself, his story.
I've never seen that in any of the previous movies. Never seen it.
Right. You do. Right. This is the first time.
So for me, like, I had an opportunity to talk to Jesse Ace, and we sat down and he was telling me, Steph, like, this is something that's pretty cool. This has never been seen before. So he was even telling me all about this stuff. So I know there was like a lot of people that are out there super, super excited about this Batman. So that was just like one of the things that I saw that I was like, oh, that was really interesting.
You like the fact that Batman kept a diary?
I love that. Love it.
My man's journaling.
He's journaling. He's scrapbooking. He's keeping the memories.
Yeah,
who doesn't love scrapbooking?
Batman kept the diary. Okay.
About the shadows.
I don't know. I felt like that part to me felt like, wait, all my secrets. If somebody found this book, they would know exactly. It's over. The whole Batman.
But the books are in the cave. There nobody's supposed to find it. Come on now.
I get it.
No, though. You gotta understand, King Krum is right. What if that book just slipped into the Catwoman's hand and they had a nasty breakup? It's like, page 1, log in, fighting the Riddler, my pants fell. It's like something crazy like that. It's insane, yo. Like, for me, I wouldn't, because that's just ridiculous. But this dude has, if you think about it, he has everything even in the future Batmans, right? In the comics and etc. He had everything on his computer. It's everything and anything that you need to know about a villain or how to beat a superhero. It's there.
Right. He has a database. Yeah, he has a database. But going back to what you said of him narrating his voice, that's like paying homage to old school detective movies. When the detective is narrating himself with the clues and stuff like that.
Okay.
My name is Private Eye. Selena Kyle walked into my office and said her sister's missing. I need to find her sister now. So I could just picture it like being like a black noir, like a black and white detective film or something.
Just taking it way back.
Yeah, taking it way back.
Taking it way back.
With the Private Eye in the background.
And
narrating.
the scrapbooking.
And the scrapbooking. So look, Dirty, we're with you. So what did you think?
I thought the movie was great. I think it was a masterpiece of its kind. He did pay a lot of homage to a lot of the cinematography styles of the different Batmans of the movies.
Right.
And who are we talking about?
We're talking about
Director
Christopher Nolan. He did a lot of cinematography for that. There was a couple of scenes where they mimicked almost the exact style, paying homage to him. One of them was like the Heath Ledger scene when he's putting his head out the window, when he's down going down the buildings down the block. You see he's out the window, you see the air, you see the camera just behind him and all that stuff. They did that style with the motorcycle. Looking down the block.
I didn't think too much about that one.
Yeah, looking down the block.
But you know what also too? Like, I know a lot of stuff with Matt Reeves. I was reading a little bit about him that one of his favorite directors is Alfred Hitchcock and Martin Scorsese. Yeah. So thinking about the cinematography style that you're talking about, don't you remember the opening scene that it's coming from a one person perspective? Like everything you see is like from like a binocular or whatever the case may be.
That's like Alfred Hitchcock style.
Right. Yeah. So with Christopher Nolan using his style, and then you have Matt Reeves using their style. And then you also have the directors from the previous Batmans. You were talking about Michael Keaton, old Batman.
Yeah.
So you're talking about so many different styles that these directors have taken upon themselves. And it's so organic in a sense of how it just comes forward.
Right.
So that to me was like really, really fantastic in their own.
I mean, there's so many styles that these directors try to do. What I like about what Matt Reeves did this time around, so in the comic books, he went into when Batman was just started to become Batman, right? He skipped the entire situation where his mom and dad got shot and got killed. He skipped all of that. He went into forget the training that, he did with Ra's al Ghul. He went straight into, I'm Batman and this is not easy, but I'm doing it. And if y'all notice, this is actually a reckless Batman at that. There were scenes where I was like, dude, how are you gonna overcome this? How did you overcome jumping off the roof? How do you think you were gonna stop in the city when you did all that movement, flying with that body parachute, it was crazy. I was over here, I was in the movie theater like, this is gonna be interesting. How is he gonna stop? So there's a lot of
the train platform stopped him.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, fam, think it through. But then again, he's just starting, and to what you guys were saying, it makes sense why he's just doing the noir type situation where he's talking about everything, Go ahead, King Krum.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. When you brought up the scene with when he jumped off with the parachute in the body and whatever. I thought Adam West was gonna come out. I'm like, why did they take it? Why did they take it back to 1960 with that shit? Like, I thought the movie was like, I thought the movie was based on it was based on current times. They had like freaking cell phones and freaking FaceTime and all this other shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that's the best they could have came up with for him. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
if
Like,
Batman's young, you don't know
Huh?
what
Yes.
time
You
the time
remember
frame. It's
this-
younger. He's not older.
This movie,
Right.
this movie is not just based on a certain comic book. It's based on a series of movies, adaptations of comic book. video
yeah, I
game.
get it. They took from
Right.
like different time. It looks like they took from too many different time periods to try to paste it all together in one.
Oh, so
In
they
one-
copy and paste. Scrapbooking.
Well, like I said, they tried to make it look like, okay, yeah, this is a young Batman and he's up and coming, but they also show like, you know, like people had like iPhones and cell phones. Like, you're like, is it the future? Is it not the future? Like, what time frame are we in his life right now?
Okay.
Is
all right.
is it 2022 or is it 1922? Like when he jumped over the first parachute?
I'm gonna
like,
jump
yeah.
in. I'm gonna jump in.
Oh, man.
That is
Go ahead.
that is the DC style. That I
Yeah,
mean, to
right.
be honest,
Mhm.
their timeline is all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only defense that I could say. That's the
Yeah,
only thing
so
I could say.
I was a little confused about that
You
part.
gotta,
I'm
you gotta
like,
remember, this
you know-
was, like I said, it took a lot of elements from different comic books. This one was originally like from 1987, Batman Year 2. Because this is
Yeah.
actually his second year. Like, he's already a year invested in as a vigilante. You know, so
Right.
everyone knows who the Batman is and fear the Batman when he comes out at
Right.
night to prey on his up the Raptors and stuff, you know, and you
He didn't
see
even do all that.
he did it like towards the end,
He
you know,
didn't do all that.
but to me, like I
Yeah.
just found it like he was like an emotionally
Wrecked.
wrecked human being, like the loss of his parents. He never got over it, so he needed
Right.
something to do,
Mm.
and then
What do you mean you need something to do? What does that even mean?
he needed a
Go
purpose.
pick up
He wanted
go
a
pick up
purpose.
another hobby. You ain't gotta be doing all that.
I'll give you another example of what confused me.
Scrapbooking. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it for the rest of the episode.
Scrapbooking. Yeah, I'll give you another example. Like you know, they gave him like an old car. You know what I mean? Like an old, you know, muscle car. You know, a
70
19.
Plymouth.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they had like a 2024 Lincoln. Lincoln crashed into the it was like a brand new spanking car like that just came out. Like, whoa, that you know what I mean?
The one that the penguin was
yeah,
in,
but-
right?
but this
Not
was-
the penguin.
But you gotta remember, this was great because you see him going through all the errors of him not stopping, of the car stalling at him when he's turning it on. You know, like you see the errors that he's trying to perfect. You know, because growing up, all we saw was this perfect Batman that we saw like in the comic books.
Batman
He's
ain't
he's
perfect.
older. He's
Yeah.
like in his 30s.
Batman was never perfect. Sorry.
No, in the comic books and it shows, they make him seem like he's this perfect superhero.
I get it.
You know? But now we
I
never
get
see like the young side of him, besides the animated series.
Yeah.
You know, but now you see like the younger side of him, like literally like growing up and how his losing his parents affecting him,
Trial and error.
child and error. And then now he sees, like, you know, spoiler alert, when they kill the was it Mitchell, the mayor?
Yeah.
The mayor.
The mayor.
You know, he sees himself in the son now because the son not witnessed, but he found him dead. You know, he's the one that found him.
Right.
Right.
So now he put two and two together, and he sees a glimpse of himself when he
Mhm.
sees that kid like, in the bed. You know, like, damn, you know, this is exactly what happened to me. Maybe this kid, you know. And then I started thinking, you know, like,
Yeah, it definitely showed his empathetic, sympathetic side of Batman in this movie, because that was what you like, that whole scene, like when the kid's father died and he found the dead body.
yeah,
Just you know, it shows that, hey, I can as Batman and Bruce Wayne, I can relate to him.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
yeah. So
I mean, and they're always going to add that situation. It's always going to be there, some form or another. You know, remember I just went back. You know, just going back to saying they didn't want to add him going through it, but they showed the kid going through it. You know, it's always one of those situations for the story. To the reasons why, you know, Bruce Wayne became the Batman. You know, this movie to me was epic. You know, but I agree with, before I say that, I do agree with King Karim. He's right. You know, we got social media. That was definitely was social media.
I mean,
You know, the Riddler was all over it, and then
all over it.
and he's driving a 1970 Plymouth. So
Yeah.
it's like bro, you couldn't get like a BMW,
Dude.
overdone, it was kind of like, I ain't gonna say it was off because I knew what they were doing. But it was like,
for me, that's the perfect word for it. Off. It was a little off.
mhm.
Even when he was doing the stakeout with Catwoman and was he in his cave or he was in a building next door? Like, you know what I mean?
Was he? Was he
You
in
gotta
his
remember
lair?
in this movie, Wayne Manor was donated to the orphanage.
Right.
So now the whole family is a whole different side of him now, because now the whole family pretty much lived in this skyrise, in this high-rise building.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
and it reminds me going back to like the Christopher Nolan Batman, where he had the Bat Cave underneath the Wayne Tower.
Wayne Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was kind of
Right.
like that. So like I said, like going back to what you said, Ern, like
Mhm.
if I would have seen his parents get killed in the beginning, I would have like, you know what, this sucks. So like we've
That's
seen this
kinda
over
It's
and
been
over.
repetitive,
done.
yeah.
It's been done. Right.
So the fact that was
They didn't
eliminated,
even
because we
do
know the
that.
story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
and the fact that they went back and kind of like dwelled into the mom, that she had like mental issues and stuff like that. This is like
Right.
something that we've never
heard
seen that.
I've never seen that before.
Exactly.
Never
Something
heard.
that's never been seen.
And then for me, it kind of explains a lot, though. I mean, if you're thinking about it, if there is a history of mental illness, I mean, it's genetic.
Well,
it could pass along.
they
I'm
were
just
saying
saying.
that,
I'm just saying.
True.
that
That's
Bruce
true,
Wayne.
Steph. That's true.
Yeah, they were saying like this is like off topic, but they were saying that like just to be funny, that Batman's is he's going through like schizophrenia, and he's fighting like a clown, and he's fighting all these.
That's not funny.
I'm
just
all his
saying.
enemies are like imaginary people.
I'm just saying it's not funny, but okay. Because
Yeah, he's, like,
I want to know
hallucinating all
who's
these
the
villains and
they.
stuff.
I want to know who's the they.
I mean, is he a little crazy?
Yes.
I think, they said it's probably been confirmed that he's definitely a little crazy, you know?
I mean, like, look, man, dude took a semi-garbage bag and jumped off the building. And I'm like, bro, how are you going to stop? I was over here just analyzing how is he going to stop? Like, because that type of glider, that's made for when you're like around the Rockies, those type of area when it's open. It's not for the city at all. But again,
I don't think anything's made to jump in the city. Just throwing it out there.
Right, okay.
Between sky rises, I don't know.
Right. So to your point, and it's like, yo, dude, like, what are you doing? But you're thinking about Matt Reeves' direction of this movie. Year 2, I'm still trying to figure it out. My body's getting bruised up. But here's the weird part, about that whole situation. This dude's armor was so bulletproof. His whole body armor was so bulletproof compared to other Batmans. I was like, wait a minute. They threw like 80 shots at this dude.
Yeah.
They didn't hit him in the face at all?
Maybe that was
they
the
did,
one thing they got right.
I think they did shoot him in the head, but then his helmet was bulletproof also.
I mean, the car ain't right, but at least the suit got to be right.
Yeah,
I'm just
look, man, that suit was just bulletproof to a T. I was over here. I loved it, because I love these movies, these type of movies. But, again, I get it. It's just the movie's going to be like, okay, he did good here. Oop, he didn't do good here. Oh, he did great here. Oh, he did horrible here, as Batman. But again, it's still, to me, it's a great movie. So let's take a look, at Batman, because I love doing this part. Comparison, right? So I love Batman. I love all of them except for 2. You guys probably gonna agree. George Clooney, a movie,
Who?
and
Who?
George.
Who?
Oh, there you go. There it is. Right.
Who?
Don't
With
do that
Arnold
to George.
Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze? Who?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I did like Joker. I did like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, though.
No,
back
no,
then.
not
He
yet.
was, but he
Hold on.
wasn't in that movie.
He was in that series, though.
No, he was not.
with George Clooney.
No.
Not with George
No,
Clooney.
no. That was Val
Val
Kilmer.
Kilmer.
That was Val
Yeah.
Kilmer. Nuh-uh. Know your
Oh.
Batmans. Know your Batmans.
Hold on. So you already know what I'm about to ask. So far, who do you like best out of these Batmans? To me, there's Michael Keaton's for me, right? I'll start it off. Number 1. I mean, if you're gonna fight me, then fight me. But Val Kilmer Michael Keaton did it right, right? Then after Michael Keaton, I feel like you have to go with Christian Bale. Him and Chris Nolan combined with everything that they've done, it was extraordinary, you know? And then I think you would have to stick with Robert Pattinson as 3A. And then you got Ben Affleck at 3B because Ben Affleck, he quit. Because, you know, due to a lot of issues that they had with the whole situation. You know, I think he wanted to be a producer on Batman as well, but it didn't work out.
Irreconcilable differences. Something to that effect.
But that's my order. So let's start with King Karim. What's your order for Batmans? Who did the
I would give Christian Bale 1 and then go Michael Keaton 2.
Ooh. Wow.
Then,
I'm curious why.
Me too. Yeah, I am.
I mean, I think Christian Bale brought made the like he looked like he did his homework when he tried to play Bruce Wayne and Batman, like, you know, and showed us like how serious, like he had the most serious Batman I've ever watched in any of the movies, you know, and showed how prepared Batman was. Like he was always ahead of the game, you know, except Dark Knight.
Not like Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, he wasn't. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean, like except when it went up against Joker, that was the first time he showed his how he wasn't ready. You know, but like you know but that's why I think Christian Bale is definitely number 1 for me.
Okay, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you got to remember, you know, the director's direction. So for Christian Bale to be prepared, you know, it took him 3 movies.
No, as a believable character, as a believable Bruce Wayne, as a believable Batman, he definitely I see him as number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As a like if I was to say, oh shit, this like that would be my most believable, you know, as a comic book person. Like if I'm gonna, you know, it's only natural. Hey, if you read the comics, you're gonna compare. You know, like okay, so or like just like if you know if you read the book and you watch the movie, like does this fit does this fit the same description? You know, and like that Christian Bale definitely fit the same description for me. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. So what did you think about Robert Pattinson overall, though?
I mean, I don't know if he's taller than Christian Bale. I felt like he was a little short. You know, I said that. I was like, you know, he looks kind of a little small for, you know, like look at the Ben Affleck Batman. That dude was he was a monster, a beast.
Well, Ben Affleck in real life, I believe he's close to 6'2" or something like that.
Yeah, he kind of like, you know, he fit that, like, you know, when I think of a comic book Batman, you know, I do think of like we talked about the guy from Reacher.
Yeah.
You know, like
Alan Richardson.
Hot
stuff.
Alan Richardson. Yeah. So he kind of like has to have like a stature of intimidation, you know, and I didn't feel like Robert Pattinson gave that intimidation factor in the movie.
He was mad emo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? That's interesting you said that.
Mad emo.
You know, Ben Affleck had it. He had the intimidation factor, and that's like what I get. But like Dirty said, you know, it's an up and coming Batman, so he's still learning. You know, but they tried to explain in the beginning of the movie, like I need them to be scared of me. You know, and I liked that part when they looked up at the sign, everybody just ran away.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, I can't be everywhere at once, but like, you know, just my symbol, you know, scares them.
Strikes fear.
Fear. But like, you know, then again, when he was like, you know, the first group fight, you know what I mean? They weren't that scared of him. Like, you know what I mean? You know, they were ready to test him.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
remember, he's a novice.
He's a novice.
What you said?
He's a novice fighter right now. He's a novice.
He's a novice. Okay, yeah, I give him that part. Yeah, but you know, like I said, there's some intimidation factor that Batman just gives, and that's why if you ever seen that MTV Movie Awards when Christian Bale received the award, he was like, you know, Batman is just the badass of the superhero world, you know, and he just, you know, and I didn't feel that with Robert Pattinson. That I'm the badass in this movie, you know.
And it makes sense, you know, because again, he's starting off. He's just starting. He's not sharp. So why would I be afraid of somebody who's just not sharp? You know, if I'm going against somebody in a duel or something, I'm like, I've seen this guy in action. He's okay, you know, or she's okay, you know. But I get what you're saying. Steph, what do you think? I'm sorry, Steph. Who's your number one Batman?
I'm always an OG. I really enjoy Michael Keaton. I guess it's just because I'm just an OG fan. For me, when it comes to like the comparison to the Batmans, I don't have a reference when it comes to the comic books because I'm not an avid. You know, I really can't compare. So for me, if Batman was the first Batman I've ever seen. So it's like I have to have everything live up to him at this point. You know what I mean? Because he was the first one that I've seen. But through the years, I've had an appreciation for Christian Bale. I think for me, seeing his interaction between the Joker and with Heath Ledger's performance, that was something that we were looking forward to. And it was just like the duel that we were all waiting for. And it got so much hype and it lived up to the hype. Did the Batman live to the hype? I'm not sure. But was the movie successful? Yes. Yeah. Was it great? Absolutely. Was it different? Absolutely. So I think, for me, like, I don't want to compare it just to compare it. I just want to see that there is growth in Batman himself. And the growth is seen through the eyes of Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves has done phenomenal work before. He's done Cloverfield, which is another sci-fi movie. If you've ever seen sci-fi of Cloverfield, he's done the one-person perspective, the same style, same shooting style in the Batman as well, with Robert Pattinson in the opening scene. He's also done Planet of the Apes. That was another phenomenal movie that you see his direction. It's just like, he just takes things and he does it differently. And I truly appreciate that. It's like, but for me, like, if I don't read the comics and I haven't seen the animated series, I only have the movies to use as a reference. But Christian Bale, really, for me, you know, I appreciate his performance for sure.
I just want to touch base with Steph, and I like what she said about, you know, it's just different. So you have to be accepting of it and be ready to not be ready to not to be surprised. You know, like, I was very surprised by the whole style of movie itself. Absolutely. You know, so, you know what I mean? Just that's why what she was like, how it's hard to compare to the other movies because, you know, it's a whole different direction of the Batman series. So, you know, you have to try to say, okay, hey, this is different. Let me give it a chance, you know? So
true. Very, very true. And it's like this movie is just, it was epic to me. But let's continue. Dirty. You know, it's your turn to shine, bro. What do you think? Who's your favorite?
Going in order, I would do Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, then I would do Rob Pattinson. Then all the other ones I would put down on there.
Before Ben Affleck, really?
Only because Ben Affleck didn't have his own movie. We didn't see the progression. All we just saw him was in Batman vs. Superman, Justice League.
Right, he was always against somebody else. Gotcha.
You know, so we never saw like a full-length Batman movie with Ben Affleck. And to see, you got to realize with all these different movies, we're seeing different stages of Batman. Now we got the young Batman.
Right.
Michael Keaton was the older in his 40s Batman.
Right.
Then we have Christian Bale like in his 30s. Yeah, Michael Keaton was the experienced gentleman. You know, then you have
he wasn't scrapbooking.
And then you have and then when we have Christian Bale, we see like him in his 30s, but then you see like going to Raj Al Ghul, going to the Himalayas and practicing and becoming going to the League of Assassins and all this stuff. Like, you see him getting experience, real world experience, you know, like this is a younger one, you know, he's being molded. He's molding himself to be a vigilante, you know, so I kind of I digged it. I dug it, you know. Like I said, there's different styles and we see different stages of Batman here. And this is a young stage of Batman.
Get it. I mean, it's yeah. Look, man. Like I said, I'm gonna go see this movie once again with one of my peoples, and yo, this movie was worth the wait, though. Overall, I think it was a perfect timing because now we're getting into all the movies that I got pushed back. It's coming out. It's going to be a lot of battle for the summer for all these big movies to come in. But Batman definitely set it off right. Let's look at the villains. Man, I love this new kid, man. He's played in other movies, Paul Dano. But man, the way he played the Riddler in this one, I felt like he had the Joker type energy to me. The whole situation was just nuts, and it got nuttier and it got nuttier, and it felt like this Riddler was like perfect at what he did.
I was I don't mean to cut you off. I was reading something and I was and like he basically he's like, you know what, the mask is not scary enough. Let's wrap my head in plastic wrap. And he was like, it was his idea to like, the back of his head and his hair to be like wrapped in plastic wrap. You know what I mean? It was just, yeah.
But it's just those little nuances and those little changes make a big freaking difference.
They make a big
difference.
He's like, I don't think this is terrifying enough, and it was his idea to when I said, and you know what, it did make, he definitely had some this like
this horror, sinister look to him.
Sinister. Let me scare the crap out of these people. Yeah.
But let me tell you something, right? I was talking with Jesse Ace again and talking about that. And he was talking about how is it that the introduction of the Riddler was the one scene that scared the shit out of everybody. And it was something that was really unique because some people saw it and some people didn't. When I saw it, I hit him in the shoulder and I was like, yo, did you see that? Did you see that? He goes, no. What are you talking about? When they first introduced the Riddler. A lot of people didn't notice it. I noticed it right away. I noticed it right away.
What do you mean? You noticed it where?
His first introduction.
His first introduction was he's on the roof with the
No, he was not. No, he was not. When you see him, when he was in the same room as the mayor, a lot of people did not notice him.
And bringing that up again, that pays homage to like psychological thrillers now. Zodiac Killer.
Is it okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What else?
Seven.
The movie Seven. They always starts off with the victim being killed.
That's when they're a victim.
No, but you see the villain performing the act, but they never show you who it is.
Right.
A psychological thriller. Of course he's doing it. Of course.
He's the victim, of course.
Of course he's the victim, I'm saying that's how psychological thrillers start.
No, but this was a psychological. No, but this was like Dre's saying. This is so he's and even like you said, like is he the victim? They were all bad guys,
right?
You know what I mean? The Riddler didn't see himself as a bad guy.
Yeah, he didn't see himself as a bad guy. He was killing the bad guys.
He's killing the bad guys. He's stopping corruption.
So he's a vigilante himself.
He's a vigilante himself.
Well, yeah.
Think about it. Like Riddler was killing people who were bad.
Yeah.
This movie takes you on a ride. On a psychological ride.
Like the Batman ride in Great Adventures.
This is taking you it starts off slow, but it's a good slow.
Not really.
It's a good slow. It's not a bad slow.
It's a 3 hour.
Listen, I didn't even realize it was 3 hours until we got done.
It was a slow burn, Steph?
No, when I think of it as a slow burn, I think of it like it's catching on fire and it's exciting. Was it slow in the beginning? A little bit, just a little bit. But again, this is the direction of the film. This is how it's developing and this is how it's growing in its own sense.
Right.
Was it exciting? Absolutely. Right. It was intense. It was what it is what a psychological thriller
should be.
A detective story, leaving the notes and it's that cat and mouse game. It's the cat, but it's a bat and mouse. Bat and Riddler.
Absolutely.
That's what
Absolutely.
makes it so exciting, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you know, the parts that I love too, when you really think about it, is how everybody who saw Batman, like going in a room, I mean, they wanted to take this guy's head off if they could, especially the cops. They just wanted to destroy this dude, but the commissioner just kept holding him down. But it was just thrilling to me to see him, like, especially that one scene where he was in the police headquarters.
Yeah. Mm.
And I'm over here like, wait a minute, like, so you could take the mask off because this is year 2. That's what I'm thinking to myself. He didn't put the little electricity thing in his face, near his face, and to shock you in like the other movies or whatnot, right? Because he's not seasoned yet. But for some reason, they didn't do it, which is kind of awkward to me. But the tension was so...
Yeah, I like that part.
It was organic.
I love that.
They did.
It was
Organic.
like- yeah, so, you know what was funny to me, though? You know, when it didn't pop off the way I thought it would, oh, man, I just couldn't stop laughing, man. The reality set in for me when Batman punched Commissioner Gordon in the face. It was like he's running through the police headquarters with a bat suit. And people are just looking like, what's going on here? He's just running for dear life.
It's funny. It's funny you mention that because that's part of the video game.
They definitely, you know, they little tidbits from everything for Batman, from the comic book, from the video game, from, you know, the other movies.
Up to the henchmen. The henchmen. Yeah, when I saw the picture of the Riddler and the henchmen, I'm like, yo, these guys look just like the henchmen in the video game.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they look, with the green outfits, with the hoodies and the leather jackets and stuff. Exactly how they fit the description.
Okay,
That makes sense. Straight out of Warner Brothers Rocksteady Batman. You know, so it was. I was like, yes, I like it.
When he punched the commissioner in the face, and I thought it was gonna get popping. I was like, oh crap, it's gonna be Batman versus the police. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Straight out of Gotham City. I was like, oh crap, they're about to go in.
You have to destroy this dude, bro. Like, seriously, man. And one part that I probably didn't notice. Whoever watches the animation, they took a part from Hush. Did y'all peep that? Remember the animation Batman Hush?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When he was in the window shooting. Remember that?
Watch it over.
Yeah, well, that's how he shot Batman. Because Matt Reeves was saying he was taking a lot of tidbits from a lot of stuff, and he took that from the Batman movie in Hush. You know, when he said, "Bring him into the light," and then he shot, instead of shooting Batman, of course, he shot the bad guy. The bad
Falcone,
guy, you know.
Falcone.
Yeah, he wanted to bring Falcone.
Yeah, but he wanted to.
That was his whole point.
That was his whole deal. I was going to say.
To bring Falcone into the light so he could kill him.
So he could kill him.
Right.
That was my understanding. That was my understanding, though. Yeah. Right?
No,
okay.
right. But what I'm saying is, it was in the Riddler when he shot in the animation. He did the same thing, but he shot Batman. He shot at Batman in the cartoon. But you know, just a little bit of tidbits that he was doing and he was taking. You know, but yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. But what I really like, though, I think I'm gonna stick with, out of the two Riddlers, I'm gonna stick with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey just embodied that Riddler. I don't know about y'all, but what do you think, Steph? What's your thoughts?
Who was the other Riddler? There was the only two, right?
And then the guys from the TV
and from the television series.
That don't count.
But he's saying it doesn't count. It does count.
I'm good off of that one, but
if I had an opportunity to compare the both, I am a big fan of Jim Carrey from the get. I'm a big fan, but in the direction of the Batman, would Jim Carrey work in that type of role?
In this movie?
I think he could.
No.
I mean, have you seen him in any other psychological thrillers? He's done one before.
Yeah, Dreams of a Requiem, whatever it's called.
No, it's not Dreams of Requiem.
That's more like.
I'm just saying, like, could he have done that? Absolutely.
I don't think so, because knowing his style, I don't think he would. Yes, we would have seen the side of the comic book Riddler and the animated series, more whimsical guy, just more about the puzzles and all this stuff. This one was just a hardcore.
Hardcore, yeah.
Hardcore.
That's the key word.
Hardcore killer.
Dark.
Yeah.
But killer for justice, like it was just
He was his own
he killed for
vigilante.
justice. Yeah.
But the thing, again, if I enjoyed both, I agree with Ern that Jim Carrey did embody that role. I love the fact that he was the one that nobody's seen. Nobody's ever seen the Riddler, and he was never taking notice. It wasn't until shit started popping off that he went ahead and he had this transformation during the movie. Now, did the same transformation happen for Paul Dano's? Was there a transformation? No.
There was.
No, he was crazy from the get.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Absolutely.
He was an orphan, but he was not crazy. He decided he became an accountant, and he ended up going to work for the renewal program. That's when he started digging up
All the dirt.
all these dirt on all these different companies, all these shell corps and stuff like that. And then he started getting pissed off because he thought that the renewal program was to place kids in better homes and stuff like this, and he was a product of that. He saw all the corruption up close, like the orphanage burning down, all the stuff, so it was like for him. It was just form of justice.
He had a reason to be upset.
He had a reason to be upset,
but wasn't an excuse to kill the people the way they did.
If nobody else is going to do it, who else?
Yeah,
he took it upon himself. Just like Batman took it upon himself to be a vigilante.
Batman does, just like Batman does. But
that's what he said. We one in the same.
But I enjoy both shades of the Riddler. I love both shades of the Riddler because, again, I'm not a person that's ever followed the comic book, so I really don't have a reference for the style that it was given for the movie. Because I love the interaction of Batman and Riddler in that series with Jim Carrey. And I love the Two-Face. I love that characterization. I love the back and forth with them. It was, like you said, it was whimsical. It was funny. But Jim Carrey made it work. Just like Paul Dano made it work because of the direction that it was at. That's how it just works for so different. But I respect Jim Carrey so much just for that role in its own. But I respected him before them. I've always been a big fan. But
absolutely, Paul Dano is a young dude who's done some work. This is his best work by far. As
a dramatic actor, yes, because he's been in other movies where it's very comical. He's more like in the comedy series. Was it The Girl Next Door?
Yeah, but
so it was always like a funny role.
Yeah, but my first
he always played that nerdy kid, But to see him, shift out of that role,
it was different.
And I think he took a book out of Heath Ledger's book. Out of Heath Ledger's page, and just dive into the.
I agree.
But I mean, my first introduction to Paul Dano was in his early movies was Taking Lives. He was a serial killer back then in the movie with Angelina Jolie and Ethan Hawke. So that was my first introduction to Paul Dano.
That was a
psychological thriller.
That was a great movie.
And so for me, I saw that in him already. So that was my first introduction to Paul Dano. But I remember seeing him in There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis, and I was like, that was such a good movie. So to see that different side, it was to be expected.
He did awesome.
He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal.
Listen, if he doesn't win an award for this, he should win an award for this. My man played a good Riddler.
What about Robert Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson,
vengeance.
Look, I mean, it's gonna be. I think for a lot of people, it'll be down the wire because of what you guys said. Because it's Dirty said about the comedic part for Jim Carrey, and he mixed it in. He wasn't as mad, but if you go back in the day about or the comic books of how Riddler is, Jim Carrey did a great job. You know, but then you got Paul Dano who said, "I'm gonna take the Riddler." And I'm going to add the Joker into it a little bit. And you're like, whoa, like there's a lot going on here, Yeah. So,
I don't know if you, like you said, I add the Joker in, but I think that they want to show the
Inspiration,
sinisterness of the villains in the DC world. Like, he was like, you know what? This guy, the Riddler, was a killer. So, you know what? We got to keep that mentality a little bit, and they were all crazy. So we have to like show, and that's what Heath Ledger did with the Dark Knight. He showed how crazy the Joker was. Right. So like that's the I think that's the kind of feeling they want to give the audience, like moving forward with like Batman and the villains, especially, because if you read some of the reviews, they said it's a villain based movie.
Right, exactly.
So
you got to remember the Riddler. Matt Reeves quoted he got inspiration for the Riddler because he wanted, because the Riddler was he's a guy that loves puzzles. He based him as the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah,
that's where he got his inspiration from. Zodiac Killer, Son of Sam. What was the movie Seven? So all these movies, he was based on, that role was based on all those other movies. And those type of killers,
like
the great at puzzles, bro.
And you got to remember, it's important that you're taking on this situation with these movies to make them a little bit darker, because what really messed them up was, I'll say it, the whole Two-Face, Iceman situation type movie. Remember, they stopped for a while after that. They said, "Yo, this ain't working." We were trying to be, because you're trying to be kid friendly, but they said, look, we gotta step it up, because this movie is not it, So after a long time, man, they try to keep it. They don't want to make it.
They don't want to make it R. Yeah, they don't want to make it rated R.
They don't want to make it rated R. So they say PG-13 -15, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta remember, like Marvel was knocking these movies out left and right.
Right,
like appealing to the kids, appealing. So you know what, and for them to follow suit,
right?
It's not it.
It didn't work.
It didn't work because it's hard to catch up, especially with their catalog of heroes and villains and stuff. You might as well just make it dark, because the comic books are dark, the animated series are dark. So it's like everything,
right?
Even to the cinematography of the comic book and the animated series, everything takes place at night.
Even to the animated cartoon movies is like, they're not for kids. Yeah,
it's not for kids.
I said, Batman be fucking them up in that shit. I'm like, ain't no other way to put it. If you watch some of those cartoons, I'm like, I'm like, oh my god.
Kid Kareem is fucking that, man. It's that one scene in that animation in Hush when he says, even the Joker was copping please. He said, I would have said it was me. Batman was mollywopping. Like, even what's the name said, I'm gonna shoot you if you keep hitting the Riddle like that.
Yeah,
it was bad, bro.
It was bad.
One of those movies where you're like, I love it, man. But so it's safe to say the Riddler was justified. Definitely did his thing.
Yep.
Okay. So let's move on to Catwoman. Hold on, Kid Kareem. I'm gonna let you go first, but I just gotta know: Zoe Kravitz, Michelle Pfeiffer, Anne Hathaway, or Halle Berry? You gotta throw in there, right?
Halle Berry is the equivalent of George Clooney. Who?
Don't you dare. Which is true, but don't you ever say that to Halle Berry again, which is true. But look, Kid Kareem, what's your thoughts, man?
Oh, I mean, she definitely fit the build and the style of the Catwoman. I liked it a lot. You know what I mean? I liked her style. I liked her costume was nice, simple, and it gave exactly what the Catwoman was supposed to look like. You know what I mean? And except a modern Catwoman. You know what I mean? Definitely not no tail. You know what I mean? No pointy ear. No, the hat that probably had a little pointy.
Man, she had like a beanie. She had
the skull. She had the half cut Scully.
She had a Scully.
Yeah,
little
with
Scully.
The pointy ears.
Yeah, the half cut Scully. You know what I mean? You know that's gonna be trending soon. You know what I mean? And
in the malls.
And I feel like the only thing I felt that they kind of could he have done this movie by himself? I think he could have done it by himself. He didn't need a cat. He didn't need a Catwoman in there. You know? Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't
Really?
yeah. They didn't have to. They didn't have to have her.
Explain it. Explain to me. Explain to me. Pourquoi?
The side story of Falcone being her father.
Okay, the micro stories.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull him
Exactly.
in.
Yeah. Didn't need another. Huh?
And then pull him in.
The micro stories didn't pull him in.
Yeah, I felt like that it took away from him, and I really wanted this Batman movie to show me something more, to show me more about Batman, and show me something I didn't see about Batman. But they definitely had to, move the focal point a few times away from him to her, could she have been in the sequel? I think she should have been in the sequel. I mean, let him get his shine. Let Robert Pattinson get his shine, no co-star, just straight gangster Batman fucking up the police. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Interesting. Steph?
I disagree. I think the only reason why I disagree is because the whole timeline of Falcone, it ties into the parents. So this was the first time I've ever seen the parents being looked as the bad people, only because the father had arranged to have somebody be taken care of. And, I don't know if that's something that's in the comics, that Batman, that his father was, somebody that, go out there and take care and handle business.
The story that he did help him when he got shot. Yeah, that's in the comics.
It is in the comics. See, yeah. I would have not recognized that reference
because he was a doctor.
Okay, so then, if that was not included, could have it worked? Yes, absolutely. It could have worked without Catwoman, but why not? That's what I'm saying. Because all the other movies didn't have Catwoman in each of them. Or did they? Yes.
And she came in on the
Dark Knight. They always come later on.
Yeah, but they're in
later
there.
on, yeah.
Except for the Michael Keaton Batman. She was in the first one.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael Keaton Batman. Mm-hmm. Wasn't she in the first one? She was in the second one.
No, she was in the second one.
Batman Returns, yes.
So I guess what King Karim is saying, since Robert Pattinson, knowing him, he probably signed on to 2 more Batmans, let's say, with Matt directing. So, he could have just had his own. Like, we'll bring her in later. They did it in the other movie, the series. So I get what you're saying. But then again, I agree with Steph, But Dirty, what do you think?
I kind of like how they introduced her right away. They didn't give us any backstory, which, it could potentially lead to her having her own movie. Her own origin story, or how she became Catwoman. Mm-hmm. Because usually, like we always see, a person that's like in distress. Her life is chaotic, and then something happens. She falls in a thing full of cats, and then she becomes Catwoman. So, but the way we see her right out the back, being acrobatic and stuff like that, and jumping out the fire.
She can take care of herself.
Yeah, right. So we see like this side of her that's not being bad, but almost being good, playing a vigilante also. Right.
I mean,
but the question, it hasn't been done. That's what I think what Karim is saying. That
it's been done.
It's been done.
I like the chemistry going
could
back
have been
and forth.
Without Catwoman, of course. Mm-hmm. Of course, he could have been front and center. But what if, I'm saying, Catwoman's in every movie. So Anne Hathaway was another Catwoman. Like, she was a phenomenal. She was a Catwoman too.
So are we going to rate which one's the best one?
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, that's the whole point. But let's start with, Dirty, we're sticking with
finish.
You. Who did you like most overall, thus far anyway, as Catwoman?
Catwoman, my first one, I will put Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, me too.
Then I will put Zoe Kravitz. Mm-hmm. 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 And then Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I would have done the same order.
In that order.
The same exact order?
Same exact order.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have done the same order.
That's pretty impressive for Zoe.
I would have put Michelle before Zoe.
Before Zoe and then Zoe? Okay.
Then Zoe. Yeah. That's how I would have done it that way. Yeah.
Only because, you know what? I'll stand with my decision. You know, I did like the way that they portrayed her as the comic book, stuff like that. The only thing that was different was she didn't have blue or green eyes like she always does in the comic books or in the show. There's a whole different side of Catwoman.
Okay, let me add another Catwoman for you. Have you guys seen Gotham series?
You about to just take it from you. Well, go ahead, do it.
The Gotham series?
The Gotham, not the little girl, okay? She was phenomenal, okay? Mm-hmm. She had green eyes, blonde hair. Badass.
Exactly.
Badass. That's another Catwoman. So I'm going to change
Zoe. I've never seen Gotham. So
that is another series. If you are a Batman fan, if you are interested, Jada Pinkett Smith is in it. You have all these new characters in it. Gotham is another great interpretation of how Batman grew up from young. His storyline coming up, a completely different turnaround. It is a good series. Like, if we can dive deep into Gotham. I think this series just finished. I think like maybe a year and a half ago. It was on Fox 5, but it's on Netflix now. If you have an opportunity, I think it comes a little bit from the comic book series. I'm not sure because again, I don't know the comic book series, but Gotham is another great interpretation of Batman. Absolutely.
And her name, by the way, is Cameron.
Yes.
Bicondova. Young Selena Kyle. Yeah, she was fantastic in that series. Fantastic. It was really dope. But I thought you were going to say the name of all names, Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt. Oh, you beat me to it.
Eartha Kitt embodied that Catwoman, and she was the beginning of all Catwomen. You know? But
just like how Halle Berry was the Batman to George Clooney, Eartha Kitt was the OG to the Michael Keaton. So that's like well, not the OG because then it'll be Adam West then, right? Yeah.
Adam West is the OG of all OGs. Yeah, but it's so many Catwomen who really did a fantastic job. To be honest, you know, it's hard to choose. King Karim, what do you think? Who's your favorite Catwoman? Oh no, you did say already. You said.
I did. I liked the what is it? The Dark Knight Returns. The last one, Anne Hathaway. I mean, she showed a little craziness to herself in that one. I mean, she had a short part too, but you know, I like that. I liked her Catwoman. I like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. You know, I do. You know, like I don't know if they showed like her cat burglars. Like, you know, that's you know who she is. You know, she's obsessed with stealing, kind of like, you know. So I didn't see like Zoe Kravitz's character having that kind of you know. She looked like she was out for revenge throughout the whole movie. Not necessarily. Hey, I'm a cat burglar first, you know.
Right.
I mean, she was still in the money bags. So,
right, that's true too.
Like,
that's still cat
just because it wasn't, you know, because it maybe not have been so obvious, but she was still stealing the money bags.
I mean, if you're going back to direction, you know, Matt Reeves, remember, everybody is starting just because Batman is starting off for the most part, except for Falcone. You know, he's been doing his situation for like over 20 years of being a mob guy, you know. The cops, Gordon, he's been a cop forever already. He's not a commissioner yet. He's Lieutenant Gordon at that point. So it's all the beginning stages for pretty much all of them, you know. But I think for me, I definitely like Zoe, but I really like Michelle Pfeiffer. She killed it to me. She really embodied that whole situation when she fell off and the cat started licking her dirty.
Yeah.
She really,
that could just go in a whole different direction.
She got cat powers.
Yeah,
getting cats licking her.
It was two different people to me. You know, she forgot her nice side and just went crazy. She lost it. She went cuckoo. You know, so but I'll go with Michelle Pfeiffer first. I like I like, man, it's pretty tough between Zoe and Anne Hathaway, but I would like to go with Anne because she had a little bit more to me, a little bit more, and I love Halle, but she knows I love Halle Berry to death. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's gonna be my order.
One thing I got to say is that at least they didn't make Zoe Kravitz look like Edward Scissorhands with the patent leather. With the staple stitchings everywhere, like she had a nice leather outfit.
You got jokes?
Was that too much for you?
No, Zoe Kravitz was perfect. It was just like straight black outfit, just like the comic books. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
the sex appeal was there. That's what Drake's trying to say.
Yeah. No, with the stitches everywhere, like the staple stitches everywhere. It was just sleek outfit.
Yeah,
with the beanie.
I like the staples because remember when Catwoman did it in with Michael Keaton, Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, she just did that outfit out the blue. She was going cuckoo, and she just did it, and that's what made the outfit so special. She just said, "Freak it!" No more fear, no more being nice. I'm nuts. Let's go into it. You know what I mean? That's why I like that outfit instead. But yeah, man. Either way, Catwoman. Everybody who almost did Catwoman was just awesome. So let's take a look into the Alfreds. I love all the Alfreds. I ain't gonna lie to you. None of them messed up to me. This particular Alfred, he didn't get a chance to do anything quite special, but be really sincere with Batman and just keep protecting him. But what are your thoughts, King Karim?
Definitely the accent pulls you in. So you got to believe him. Yeah.
Are we talking about accents again?
Huh?
Oh Lord.
The Brit, he was MI6 and all this other stuff. He's the new Jeffrey in Bel-Air. You know what I mean? So I definitely, I mean, like I said, not really much to say. I know that they do have a Pennyworth series about Alfred. I gotta watch it. I never watched it.
Okay. What is him in the academy learning how to hack computers?
Oh man. But I did like like I said, I really have much no beef with Alfred. I mean, he definitely always tries to play the father figure. And he knows when he's not when to say when I'm not his father, he's gonna do his own thing, So as long as you get those main points across, I'm happy with Alfred.
Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
That Alfred would do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
He's the voice of reasoning. He's Batman's voice of reasoning.
Right. Either of those who played Alfred was good with me. What you think, Steph?
I have no preference. All the Alfreds, regardless of their accent or not, they all play well.
They serve their purpose.
They serve their purpose.
Steph, I don't know. They have to have the accent though.
Well, I mean, Michael Caine, love him. Broke my heart. No, I love all the Alfreds. I love all the Alfreds.
Yeah, Dirty.
Same thing, man. Like I said, they're there to serve a purpose. He's the voice of reasoning to Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how, so I guess you can't call him his butler, more like a house manager.
You just missed a joke. King just said that. Yeah. He just said that.
Exactly. He's modern time, so he's a house manager.
Modern time, yeah.
Yo, you ain't never lie about that, man. But yeah, man, like I said, it was all Alfred's was dope. Now let me ask you this: directors, who's your favorite director so far? Christopher Nolan, Tim Burton, Matt Reeves, any other directors? What do you think?
I don't know. I gotta stay with Christopher Nolan for now. And maybe if I see another the Batman series, I'll maybe change my mind. But right now, it's still Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Yep, same thing.
So,
same.
Yeah. And then we'll probably
Okay.
Michael Keaton after. You know what I mean? But I guess,
I love Tim Burton. I have an affinity for him.
Tim Burton.
I love him. Beetlejuice. He does all the classics. So
Yeah, his style is very quirky and-
very distinct. So
Yes.
you can tell right away if it's a Tim Burton film, and I love that through his animation, through his work of arts. I mean, at one time we had an opportunity to go see his
Tim Burton
experience in the city
okay.
a long time ago. But I mean, it was something you've seen all his handwork and all the filmography. He had some Batman stills. It was like a really great experience. So
the design process, creative process,
the creative process. You
storyboards that he
see how his mind
yeah.
works. So that is an experience. But Tim Burton, I mean, he's an experience in itself. So for me, I have a different respect for that. But for the purpose of directors, everybody has their own take. But I'm with King Karim, Christopher Nolan, the Batman trilogy. I mean, fantastic.
With that being said, though, Christopher Nolan, man,
Legend.
that guy, my God, anything he does, you know what I mean? Christopher Nolan forever, But yeah, but I'm excited to see what Matt Reeves is doing right now. So far, so good. So let me ask you something. Was this more of a reality film where things are realistic for a superhero with no powers? Do you ever say to yourself like,
Batman
well,
never had any superpowers?
No, I mean, he doesn't have superpowers, but we're thinking about the other Batmans, right? He was so smooth at everything he did. He was smooth, But again, we're going back to Batman's been doing Batman around that time for like years, right? Season, probably 10, 12 years of cleaning up Gotham compared to this one, But then Christopher Nolan, when he first did the first Batman on his trilogy, he got smooth pretty quickly. Within the movie, it was like, dang, you smooth already compared to he's just starting out,
because he's been a few years
like,
in already in the movie. He's already like, I would say, experienced vigilante. He graduated. He's like his sophomore year in high school.
He graduated.
He knew what to do. He knew he saw the syllabus. He saw, all right, I got this. And then just kept it moving.
Saw the requirements.
He said, I saw
and he understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment.
Understood the assignment. King Karim?
I guess you could say they kept it. They tried to keep it down to earth, but I think they tried to keep it down a little too much. Like this is Batman. This is the philanthropist. The expert. Well, what we call him, the engineer. Like you know what I mean, like.
The architect.
The architect, I mean, we didn't get to, see, that, well, like you said, he's growing still, but he's a billionaire, a trillionaire. Come on, you got to come up with something better than that 1970 Plymouth. You know what I mean?
Why are you still stuck on that Plymouth?
Nah, he's right, man.
Yeah.
Like 1970 Plymouth.
Yeah.
It's a classic car.
Yeah, but like you said, you can't be on TikTok with that. You know what I mean?
You ain't got no business being on TikTok. No. You're a vigilante. Sorry.
I felt like the timeline.
Only the Riddler could be on TikTok.
Yeah, I just felt like the timelines didn't match up for on certain tech things. You know what I mean? Batman was a tech dude, so
he was missing Morgan Freeman. Is that what you're saying?
Lucius
the R&D from Wayne Manor, Lucius
Fox.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I get it, like where we said that they're trying to show the beginning stages. I know Bruce Wayne ain't come up with that damn parachuting thing, jumping off that thing.
Nah, that he wasn't ready, bro.
He wasn't ready, man.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
If you want to compare and contrast, like when he met Lucius Fox in the Christopher Nolan series, he was like, "Hey, I need something for spelunking." Like, you know what I mean? And he looked at him like, yeah, and he was like, "Spelunking." He's like, "Yeah, oh, okay." I think I know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
we'll make it happen. We'll make it work.
The R&D department.
The R&D department. And he was like, yeah. So, and he was like, you know, it showed how creative he was. You know, like, okay, I have a plan. I need this the plan to go with. You know, I don't that part didn't look planned out to me at all. Like, yeah,
It wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't. It was a struggle. It was a beautiful struggle, man. So look, guys. So this comes to the final question for this segment.
Go ahead.
King Karim, you know we're gonna go with you last, man. So ladies first. The rating.
So I want to take it back a little bit. Like maybe if we guys can take just a summarize from beginning to end and just talk about little quick and bits of how the movie started and what did you think about it? Because I think it's important that we really dig deep into, the main characters, as Ern mentioned before. You know, we have focus on the Batman, we focus on Catwoman, we really got to talk about Gordon. We have to talk about, all the other characters, Falcone. So they're just as important into the movie. So from the beginning, we're introduced to Riddler, right? Riddler comes in, he's killing the mayor. This is how the whole thing starts, right?
For me, going in, I thought it was a horror movie when he was like breathing hard and looking through the window and like a creep. And he was like and he was just like, I really thought, okay, like they're gonna make this go. Like I was like, should I get ready to jump, like to be startled, like, you know what I mean, like, so, and it definitely still had those points, yeah, and but that's how I felt going in, like in the beginning of the movie, and
that's like really like had set the tone for the movie.
Yeah,
it did,
for me,
going back to the beginning, you see him put the tape on, and then putting the tape on, like the duct tape, opening it, pulling it apart, and then wrapping the guy's head. It had elements of Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. I really was like, oh crap, they're really going for a horror flick deal, and I was like, yo, you gotta, this one you're gonna be jumping out your seat. I wasn't prepared for that.
And Saw was another psychological thriller. The man was a cop and everything. Redemption, and like he couldn't get insurance money, stuff like that. So he took us on this journey, and then especially with when he had like the I forgot which character it was, when he had like the rat maze around his head.
That was from I think the commissioner was not the commissioner. There was another.
The captain.
Was it the captain that was caught?
Actually, no, that was the commissioner.
That was the commissioner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The corrupt cop.
Yeah. The corrupt cop, yeah.
Yeah.
So seeing that mousetrap and the mouse coming in, it was like very reminiscent of
Jigsaw.
Yeah,
thinking about it.
Definitely horror movie feel, so just like this, and then like you said, let's summarize it. It's not a movie you think the good guys win all the time. I didn't feel like I felt like the Riddler kind of won in this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
He destroyed the city. Like it's underwater right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm telling you, it gave me that again. You got to go back how it gave me that, and I tell you, it gave me that Joker feel. When the Joker would not stop in the Chris Nolan film, it just kept going. Mayhem, and then mayhem, and mayhem again, and then make it a little bit more mayhem after that.
And he's like, wait, he was waiting for them to blow each other up.
Right. I was waiting for them to say, yo, like for me, it wasn't the ending that I wanted, but then I get it.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. So, but again, you said, the Riddler, if he didn't try to kill no good people, he like Batman. He like Batman. He beating up everybody who's bad. He's, who took money, corrupt cops.
Yeah, we're one in the same. We're one in the same, but we just go about it a different way. That's it.
Yeah.
Just on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
That's really what it was.
Right.
So when we're continuing with the story, you see the development of how Riddler is leaving these letters and they're leaving these messages, and it's specifically for Batman, right? You see how he's trying to deliver those messages. He's trying to decipher everything. Then how is the story continue? Now it's like, again, it's like the cat and mouse game. We're trying to figure this out, the psychological thriller. We have detectives coming in. We have the cops coming in. Everybody's all corrupt.
And then the only person you could trust is Commissioner Gordon. Because everyone is corrupt in the precinct.
Jeffrey Wright. First time I've ever seen him, I've seen him in Westworld. That was the first introduction for him.
Yeah.
And I thought he was fantastic in that. So, and also, like, we also talked about him in What If. We also have another episode we talked about in What If. He was in The Watcher. So just seeing him, just seeing him being the only one person that he can trust, he was another integral part of this Batman. He was an integral part of it. So that I thought that was important too.
They've always been in all the other series. You know, Commissioner Gordon has always played, Batman's right-hand man, his trusted ally, that he could always come to and get information from and trust and build that relationship with him. Because he didn't have that much of an inner circle. Besides Commissioner Gordon.
Money.
Yeah. So he's the only person you could trust. And then to see all the,
he wouldn't sell himself.
He wouldn't sell himself,
Yeah, he was also in the 007 series with James Bond's right. Daniel Craig as his
Daniel Craig, excuse me.
Yeah, that's his right hand man.
Yeah,
I was like, that's where I know this guy from. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's done so much work, man. He's so talented. He's so talented. He's not been nominated. I mean, what doesn't he do? And Steph is right. Because normally I was gonna keep it at those particular characters, but he is an integral part because Batman wouldn't care less about Gotham PD at all if it wasn't for him. If they
he was ready. I just felt like it was like straight out of Gotham City. He was about to go in the police department on those guys. Yeah, I was waiting to see something like that.
Like take the keys and punch me in the face. Take the keys and punch me in the face.
Yeah,
that's what he told him. Take the keys, punch me in the face.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I think Batman was the part when Batman said, "Make it 3." And then Jeffrey Wright says, "This is not the way to do it, Chief." I ain't gonna lie, man. That dude, like, that Batman was about to lose it in the police department. Yeah. But Jeffrey Wright, man, Lieutenant Gordon, at the time, he's lieutenant. Yeah, I got to remember that, The chief, the commissioner that he dealt with, he actually died. He got gunned down too, because he was another corrupt cop. So it paints a perfect picture for them both just coming up, to do right by the city, to do right by Gotham, together, and again, Jeffrey Wright is just a remarkable actor overall. That's just easy. That's just easy to say, Steph, who else we got? What other characters we
as we're going through the movie, we're being introduced to the Penguin now. So going into his lair, that was another introduction. I don't know if you remember the opening scenes with the twins.
The iceberg palace.
The iceberg palace. So now Zoe Kravitz is being introduced. She's going in. You're seeing the dance scene. And they're opening the door. You see the twins. I only recognize them from Teen Wolf. And I remember them getting their faces punched in every time they opened the door.
They had a comedic factor.
There was a comedic touch to break the ice. Well, break their faces and their noses at that point.
It's just funny because like when we were watching that scene in the movie theater, like every time they get fucked up, and I was like, these kids. I kind of said it out loud. These kids been getting fucked up since 1990s. Since Teen Wolf.
Oh my God.
The twins are hilarious.
I remember them like that, but that's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And it's so funny, like seeing them like that. And then now you're going into the scene now you're being introduced to another character, which is Colin Farrell. Now I know a lot of people did not even recognize him. I didn't recognize him. And I was just like, I didn't know until end credits. I was just like, are you serious? That was Colin Farrell. And a lot of press release were saying that he was doing the press junkets that they didn't even recognize that was him.
I'm glad we're talking about this because now this penguin was particularly different than all the other penguins. The other penguins were, he's always underground, was afraid to come up. He ruled the underworld, whatever, and all this stuff. And
he still technically did, but he did.
But this one was like
he was also like something like an orphan millionaire too, or something like that. Yeah,
he was like a businessman.
Right. Not an orphan, but he did have some kind of. He did come from money.
Yeah, he wasn't an orphan. They threw him away.
They threw him away. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was so ugly.
Cobblepot. Yeah. He was like heir to Cobblepot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if first of all, like whoever took care of Colin Farrell's makeup, the whole
special effects.
Special effects. Yep.
I hope you don't really look like that, man.
Oh my God, I can't.
Wait, who don't look like that?
Colin Farrell. Let me see.
He does not.
Huh?
He doesn't look like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's why nobody could have recognized him.
I did not recognize him at all.
I didn't know it was him. I was like, what?
Look,
at the end credits, like, that's not him.
Let me tell you how bad it was, right?
A recent
that
picture.
A friend of mine saw the movie, and when he saw the movie first, he kept saying, dude, what are you talking about? Colin Farrell is not in the movie. That dude would not be in this movie. Like, I don't even like him as an actor. And I had to shed some light on how good of an actor Colin Farrell was. Because I told him, like, you're tripping. And yes, that is him. He thought he was another actor. He thought the Penguin, the guy who played the Penguin, was just a whole nother actor with his scars on his face. That's how great of work they did for Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was simply amazing. Amazing. And Colin Farrell, he's an Irishman. A lot of people don't know that. This dude with the voices, when he does his voices, he changes up. Man, I'm like, yo, he's just a genius in my opinion of an actor. What y'all think?
He did good. Like I said, like I didn't even know it was Colin Farrell until the credits.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Because I don't even remember them ever mentioning his name in the movie. It was just because everything, the shine was on Rat Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. So it's just to see like the makeup work and all this stuff. And like I said.
And he also had like a comedic scene, I think, in his interaction with Gordon and with Batman. He's like, you guys are not going to leave me here like this. It's just like some of those little highlights in the movie. It's important.
Yeah.
It's dark. We know that the movie's dark. But it's just, you also have to have that little tinge of, just a little bit of fun.
Oh, yeah. When he got shot, he started wobbling like a penguin.
Like you said, the twins, when he came actually as Bruce Wayne, and he's like, do you know who I am? And he's like, wait. And we thought they were going to figure out he was Batman. And he was like, oh, no, you're Bruce Wayne. Yeah, come on in. Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, they got the black eyes, and they're also all beat up.
He couldn't see from his eyes. That dude could not see.
Yeah,
but it's so funny.
Then he got his brother. He's like, "Oh, that's Bruce Wayne." And he's like, "Yeah, oh, come on in." Yeah.
Shoot, they ain't gonna close the door on $1 billion. They wasn't gonna do that. They would have looked at crazy doing that. But yeah, man, back to Colin Farrell, man. Like that Penguin, just his whole energy. Just to become an entire different actor to me is amazing. Just a whole, that's a whole nother human being.
Yeah, apparently that Penguin character is so powerful that, like you said, he's gonna get his own spinoff
really?
on HBO Max.
Oh, he could do it. Absolutely.
I don't
easily. And that's easy. That's easy. Easy choice.
You know how much they're probably gonna pay him though, Steph? Like to do all that makeup every day or every other day. Jeez,
he'd be all right.
That's a lot of
money.
work.
He got money. It's all right. So he's all right. He's gonna get that money. He's fine. So continuing with the movie, now that we've already introduced the Penguin, now we're getting into the point that now the story is now picking up now. So now we're discovering what the Riddler's plans are. And we end up going into a scene where now the Batman they see the maps. Now, I got a little lost between myself and King Karim because we both took a little nap in between. So it's a little bit of space in between. And really, that was really just because he's been working all day. I've been working all day. The scene is right. It's nice and dark. You have the reclining chair and stuff like that. So the situation was how it was. You hear him snoring and I'm hitting him. I'm like, get up. So,
I snuck my own food in.
Yeah. So at this point, by the time I open my eyes, now everything is blowing up. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what is going on? What did I miss? So now at this point, this is like now Gotham is being burned to the ground.
So what are you saying, Steph? Should it be 3 hours?
No. No.
Should the movie have been 3 hours? Is that what
Yeah,
you're trying
but
to tell me?
that was reminiscent of what a Batman movie is. Explosive with the bombs going everywhere, the city's in turmoil.
No,
That's what we usually see in a Batman film.
But did it have to take that long to get to that point?
Yeah, that's what Steph is trying to say. I totally get what Steph is saying right
You know
now.
what? Like,
Shit.
I'm gonna have to revisit my score. You know, like I'm gonna have to watch it a second time to see if I feel the same way.
So this is based off for me. My review is based off one watch, and I really want to, like Steph, and I told you guys, I need to really watch it a second time to get the full take in.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I understood why it had to be that long. Nowadays we're dealing with. You got to remember, DC is battling Marvel, and they're so behind. They're like literally so behind. Marvel is up like how many movies to one?
Yeah, to one.
Maybe one. And really
And
nice.
all those Avenger movies were 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, and they stuck right there, right around 235, 235, 238.
I wonder if that's why they charge us so much for these damn tickets, because the movie was 3 hours long. We got to mention that AMC was charging more money for the
Batman
for the Batman tickets.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's gonna happen, man. But it was a movie that
took a page out of Netflix book.
Golly, this guy. It's a movie that they needed, that had to be done, and they did it the correct way. Again, you go back to the villains. They added more than one villain, more than two villains this time. And you're starting to notice the theme for DC and Marvel. Spin-offs is gonna happen with each show, and et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on, And like I said, they did a remarkable job. They did a remarkable job with the Penguin. Colin Farrell, I want to understand what they're going to do because I want to see some action, So this is going to be interesting. Is it going to be like Sopranos? He's just a mobster and he's a great actor. I don't understand how they're going to do it, but, I'll wait.
Falcone's character, he's another phenomenal actor. I mean, he's from Transformers. He was in so many different roles.
He's another one.
Yeah. Phenomenal actor, and he's just so versatile, and he has so much range, And Falcone's story alone is enough for a whole movie, or even a whole spin-off.
A whole spin-off, absolutely.
There's potential for a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of the stuff. The Two-Face story, all this. Yeah, he has so much stuff to talk about with Falcone, and how did I see it? Did I believe him? Yeah, I believed him in this movie. He was ready to choke his daughter out. That's how dark this.
He choked the mother out. He choked the mother out.
Choked the mother. Yeah, choked the mother out.
He choked the mother out.
Just like I did your mother.
Just like I did your mother.
I was like, damn, dude, what did the mother do? I understand she's trying to shoot you and kill you, but what did the mom do first? But John Turturro, man, first and foremost, that guy needs his roses, like right now. He's one of those guys who doesn't have to be, the head actor, the leading actor,
to make an impact. Nope.
To make a powerful impact, man. He's in the same range of Samuel L. Jackson, if you want to be honest. I know Samuel L. Got him by a little bit, in my opinion, because Samuel L. He's been in the most movies ever out of actors. He's been in like over 200 movies or something like that. But John Turturro, man, he's special. He's special. So I believe he started with Spike Lee, and then it just never stopped after that. It just never stopped, man. He just kept going. But yeah, Falcone was just an awful, awful human being. This guy was bad shit, yo. Like, damn.
True, and it worked.
Like a true mobster.
And it worked.
True gangster.
And it worked.
True gangster, bro. Like, he snitches. He's definitely a really awful gangster.
Cutthroat.
He snitched.
The Rata.
He snitched. What didn't he do? Killed his baby mom. This guy is awful, yo. Killed killed the mayor.
Marconi. He got Marconi arrested. He got everything.
Right.
He snitched and everything.
Right. They think he killed Bruce Wayne and his mom. I mean, Thomas Wayne and his wife. Who knows? You know, that's up in the air. That's always discussed, that type of situation. You know what I mean? But yeah, at the end of the day, man, he was fantastic. You know, he was fantastic. He was the guy who made everybody say, man, I gotta, if I could just get to his throat and squeeze, my weekend will be set. You know what I mean? Because he was just that effed up of an actor, yo. I mean, effed up of a character, which made it great because we're talking about him now.
No, of course. And seeing how his role ended and him being shot, it kind of like the climax was at that point. It's like, oh shit, like what is gonna happen now? So going through Batman, now that Riddler, that beautiful scene where it zones in on Riddler, like Riddler's like ready, I'm ready to reveal myself. That in itself was a scene that I was like, oh no, like it's about to go down. So that scene itself was, I was like, that was like insane.
Again, it's like one of your typical psychological thrillers at the end.
They're waiting
you guys
for you.
couldn't catch me. Here I am.
Here I am. I'm waiting for you.
I bested you.
I was like,
checkmate, bitch.
I was totally, I was totally unexpected when Falcone got shot. Was not prepared for that to happen. You know what I mean? And then like they kind of had to explain to you, oh, bring him into the light. Like for me as the audience, I couldn't figure out what bring it out into light meant. You know what I mean? And like they use the personification or the metaphor of him actually coming out into the light, and he shot him.
It was a literal meaning.
Yeah,
it was a literal meaning.
Yeah, we thought it meant like, you know, everything's gonna unravel. You're gonna
unravel. Yeah,
but he meant it literally.
Reveal the whole plot.
Nah,
and it was the other way around.
It was taken literally. Like, show my dude in the light so I could catch a good shot. Bang.
That's it. Because he knew he would never get him. He couldn't get him.
No way. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And that was his opportunity to do that. So now you have Riddler. Now he revealed himself. He's here now. He's getting arrested. What's the next step? What's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's chaos. Chaos right after that.
Right.
So now we're going into Gotham City. Now everything's coming together. The city's burning to the ground, literally. And now everybody's stuck in where? Everything is in Gotham.
In the arena.
In the arena, right? So now how is that taken to interpretation? Like, what does that represent?
Vulnerability. The city's gonna be vulnerable now because everybody's in one location. His whole main goal was to have all the politicians and all the high profile people in one location. And that part when he blows up the whole island to lock him in, that's part of the video game. But in the video game, it was the Joker that blew up the whole island to separate Arkham Asylum and the city to have their own territory.
Oh, okay.
So it was that, to me. That's like one of the best part of the movie. Like when the whole scene that now we see Batman rappelling down the raptor and all that stuff. Now before my man just come out the shadows. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. And you can see like
so you see the growth. You see the growth.
You know, like I'm like, where's the Batman that I know coming down from the ceiling, grabbing people, and we see that towards the end.
Yeah.
And then not him just coming out the shadows. Everybody's scared to look in the shadow. Like, is that him?
Who said, is that him?
Yeah, is that him? Yeah, because there were certain scenes where these burglars will look back into the shadows, and because he stroked fear in all these villains at night, that every time they see like a dark area, they think he's in there, but he's not.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it just embodied everything that. It embodies everything that, you know, that's been going on between animation, the video games. I mean, everybody who is gonna love this movie.
You also didn't like. I never seen Batman as a humanitarian. Like, I mean, Bruce Wayne was a humanitarian. You know, and you know, this one actually when they showed him like lifting up the girl and helping the people. Like, you know what I mean. After he done fuck shit up, he used to just disappear, and Bruce Wayne used to, go pay the money and fix the shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This time he was there, like, he was actually lending a hand, cleaning up, and like, I guess that was a whole new direction. I think they ever went in a Batman movie. The humanitarian.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, and you saw Sis, the mayor. She was looking at this dude like, "Yo, fam, you wearing a cape." Like,
yeah,
like, I don't know. Like, I trust this dude. Like, but they had no option at this point, because she was stuck. Either you drown or I'm just helping you up.
Exactly.
That means to you.
She took a bullet too.
Yeah, and she took a bullet. She took a bullet.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I love how they switched that up too. That they had a female black mayor. I love that. I did like that part. You know what I mean? Gordon is not white in this time around. And I'm pretty much sure they'll do their best. I'm pretty much sure they'll do their best to do that. Moving forward overall. Just to me, in my opinion, as long as it's not Batwoman. Because that show, man.
Well, that movie's supposed to come out too, right? It's a whole other thing, but
I have no idea.
But I think, like, now that we're coming to the conclusion of the movie, like, how did you guys felt like the ending was? Like, now that King Karim mentioned, like, you see the humanitarian side of him. He's helping. He's among the people. Now that everybody's stranded, like, what's next? Like, now does it give space for another sequel?
It's the Bruce Wayne bailout, man. That's how the money. That's how the rich stays rich. Bruce Wayne's the only one that got enough money to help fix the city, and the city gonna have to pay him back. That's how he stays. That's how he stays.
The predatory loans.
Yeah.
That dude, he owns the Barclay. He owns Daily News. He owns
everything.
I own 50% of everything.
He bought Superman's house back. Like, come on, he bought the bank.
He got it fixed. He was like, no, I got you. Don't worry about it, Soups.
But like Steph said, I mean, that's a whole new direction of ending of Batman. The humanitarian aspect of him. Like I said, I didn't expect. That's why I said I kind of have to watch this movie again twice to absorb everything in, and because if you didn't pay attention or if you weren't awake, you would have missed that part. Yeah. Speaking of the 3 hours long.
Look, man. Let's. You know what, Steph? Did we pretty much cover everything?
I hope we did. There was just so much about this movie that was just fantastic in itself. With the direction, with the cinematography, with the writing, with the actors. It was just a compilation of just genius work. And I really think that if you have an opportunity to see it again, go see it again, because maybe there might be something new that you didn't see it the first time.
To miss.
That is something that you missed. But I mean, I had a great time watching it. I had a fantastic time just learning and observing just a new direction of this Batman.
So what would you score it?
I give it a 9.
A 9?
I give it a 9.
Okay.
And again, there's no such thing as a 10. But if it was shorter, I give it a 10.
Okay.
Wow. If it was shorter, I give it a 10 because I think King Karim made a great point that did you have to add Catwoman to it? Maybe. But if they had to edit scenes, she would have been edited. That whole scene with her friend could have been edited out.
It's because I think it's 40 minutes of extra deleted scenes for this whole movie.
Right.
Yeah, Joker they have actual scenes with the Joker.
And we didn't even talk about Joker either, and the end credit scene.
Yeah, with Joker, it's really hard to tell, but just to see, you only see a glimpse of his face, so we really can't compare him to any other Jokers yet.
Yeah, but why? But why did they introduce him at the end? Why did you think?
Because I think he's gonna play a pivotal role in the second one.
In the second one, like opening up.
They're building it up.
Gotcha. But if they had to do editing, if there was something that I wanted to see more of, again, that would be more of the relationship between him and Alfred, the relationship between him and his parents. But again, they've done that. It's overkill.
Yeah.
So just focusing on Batman and focusing on his development and his growth, I would have loved to see more of that. The way that it ended with him on the motorcycle, was it epic?
cheesy.
It was a little cheesy, you know, looking in the back of the mirror.
Poetic.
It was poetic, right?
Right.
But again, if it was a little less in time, could they have fit everything in the 3 hours? Was it necessary? Maybe they had to. But I would have given it a 10 if it was shorter. Absolutely.
What about you, Dre?
I give it a 10. To me, this is up there with the compared to Christopher Nolan, cinematography wise, story wise, a thriller. Otherwise, like it was just beautifully done, visually, everything.
I'm gonna go
But like
next.
I said, I'm gonna go.
We gotta leave Earn B for last.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go. I guess I would give it a 7 or 8. I mean, on my first watch. On my first watch, yeah. It might change after my second watch.
Yo, put this man on mute.
And Earn, what you got? The real got me. What you got?
My man is guessing. He guesses at 7 or an 8. That hurts either way, man.
He couldn't even give it.
It can go up. It can go up.
Yo, man.
There's room for improvement.
No, no.
Well, Batman usually don't need saving, but I'm gonna save Batman from King Karim.
Go ahead.
I'm give it a 9.
A 9.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
What you took away points on?
Well, I took away the points that it was kind of long, you know, even though it was good to me, but you know, there were some points where you could have just took off maybe 15 minutes or so, give or take, right? But again, you gotta understand that it is he's a detective.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he does. You know, besides fighting crime, he gotta solve the case.
And so I think the build of suspense too, it takes time, you know, for the audience.
Right. So, you know, and again, that's why I asked you if it was really realistic, you know, and I think it was to that nature that, look, I gotta do the Sherlock Holmes thing here because this case is pretty difficult. You know, what's going on.
Right.
You know?
Not too much CGI, right? In that sense, not too much CGI.
Right, exactly.
Like how the Marvel movies are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of just to touch base on that scene, the gun scene was actually real guns shooting at him. In the dark. Yeah. Those are real guns.
You know what that movie scene reminded me of? Sorry. There was another movie with Christian Bale that he was oh my God, I just thought of it.
We have to stop because it's about to run out of time.
I know. But no, we're almost finished.
Okay. Waiting for you.
Would you remember the movie?
No.
Is it the
cut this out.
No, I don't remember it. Sorry.
Christian Bale done some great movies now.
So the question begs to differ.
Really good movie, man. I'm trying to remember the movie now.
It's bothering me now.
Not Shaft? It wasn't Shaft?
No. It was another movie that he was in that he was also like a crime fighter, but it was in the dark and he had a blade and he was deflecting all the bullets.
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Yeah.
And that movie was long. It took a while to get popping. Yeah.
That movie was dope. And that, again,
Yeah,
6 Degrees of Bacon just reminds me of different things of different elements of Batman. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so, you know, my main question is, you know, so the movie's coming to HBO Max in a month after debut. Could you have watched this at home?
Yes.
You could have watched this at home. Meaning not having to go.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
But would I? No.
Right, that's the question.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Would you have waited to watch this at home?
No,
you had to run and go see it right away.
To the theaters, absolutely. Like right now, not now, but
I could have waited.
You could have waited. I think I could have waited too.
No way.
Yep.
1 week was good enough for me.
No.
Oh no, you're right. You had to see it.
Day one.
You had to see it in theaters, Dre.
See it theaters day one. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have waited. I would have.
I mean, we did, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, after you've watched it now, then you ask yourself that question: Could I have watched this at home?
Well, given the if you have the right TV and the right surround the right mood, then yeah. And I think it'll look great on the LGC one.
Okay. All right. That's the promo. Yeah.
You knew he was gonna mention that.
No, like, seriously, like it gets old. Here's the thing. If I'm just saying, I if I go to the movies, is a reason for me to get out the house. It is a reason for me to do something different. So I went to go see it the first day. It was great. Now they're gonna have it on HBO. I'm gonna watch it again. I can wait another month to go watch it. So that's how I feel about that. But still,
okay. You don't have to go run to the theater to watch it the second time.
Not for the second time. For the first time, yeah. For the first, yeah. Not the second time, no.
Okay. What about you, Dirty? You think this movie had enough special effects and enough action that you needed that movie theater experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Towards the end. What about you, Real Got Me? What you got?
No, I said yeah.
Yeah, they had everything you needed for the movie theater experience.
Everything I needed, man. Like, you got to understand. Besides, again, I'll just say the two names: Val Kilmer and George Clooney movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those two Batmans. After that, man, every Batman is in the theater. Every Batman is no questions asked. There's nothing to think about. You know,
so King Karim, could you have watched this at home? Let's see. I think I gotta watch this.
Probably in the third person,
just like Batman.
Of course you could have.
Yeah, I think you know,
King Karim, you could watch Marvel movies at the house and you'll be fine.
Yeah. No.
Here's my thing. Like, he give it a 7 and an 8. This dude could have waited till next week or next month.
I think I could have waited till next month to watch this at home.
Yeah. Like, why would you even be surprised about what he's saying? I'm like,
oh, I'm not, but I just wanted to say, geez. Unbelievable, bro. I can't believe you, man. I can't. 7 or an 8. You just not sure which one.
I'm leaning towards the 8 right now. I want to watch it again to give it a full. You know. Are
you gonna wait until it comes out on HBO? Or are you gonna pay?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till it comes on HBO.
Well, then, so 7 stands.
7 stands. Yeah, and then
at this point.
No, it did have like Dirty said. It towards the end, I felt like it definitely deserved the movie theater experience with the flooding of the arena and the fighting on the stands and
sound effects.
The sound effects and explosions, but like the beginning, it didn't need that whole movie theater experience. You could have done that at home.
Real quick, before we leave, Steph, where can they find us?
Absolutely. 20 Talk is found on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at 2020. You can also find us on Apple. Right? We're talking about Anchor, Spotify, Google, Breaker Radio, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and Castbox. 20 Talk is talking about everything movies and shows and everything in between. So go back and listen to those episodes and listen to wherever you get your podcast.
Take that. Nice. That's the Oracle. Anything else we left out?
No, I think what now is we're just going to be keeping our options open. There's so many good things that are coming out right now. Let us know what you guys are watching. The 20 Talk crew has been watching Inventing Anna. We've been watching Diabolical. We've been watching so many things. So if you guys want to let us know what to watch, keep an eye out and we can make a review of it. Let us know on social media and we'll take it from there.
So much, man. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. This is your boy, Ern B.
It's your boy, King Karim. Stop the pushbacks.
It's your boy, Dirty.
It's Steph the Oracle. Have a good night, everybody. Hope you had an amazing time. I know we did.
Yeah.